So, from ages 1 to 5, inside of my world, my father gets away with rape, raping his daughter, sexually abusing me, and sexually advancing my brothers into as well being in the same bedroom as my dad was, raping his daughter. Okay? So, I had just learned how to walk. These guys didn't know that I could walk. Let me shut this off. Move stuff around, hopefully, and tell this story while I make some coffee. So, what else happened ages 1 to 5? Basically, my father gets away with rape because the government protects it, I guess. Even though there's a physical, perpetrator and a physical victim, they're making my speech and speaking out about it the crime. Way to go, Minnesota. Way to go. So, not only was my mom not protected and trying to get help for the situation, but I or my sister, and in fact, my brothers that want to work in this fashion against their own little brother for speaking out about the crimes, were pretty fucked over. Regardless if they want to, admit to it or not, they know what they did. So, there was court going on. Nothing ever came through for it because my sister was threatened that if she were to speak on the stand against the man that was her own father, that, let's just put it this way, he was threatening bad things were going to happen, right? As if they hadn't already. So she throws up. I'm the last person to be able to speak out against my father on the stand. They're not allowing me to do so. And instead, I guess rape and poisoning up your own little brother, or poisoning up your son, or poisoning up your friend, and even later in life, poisoning up your own boyfriend is completely legal. So long as it's done within the proxy of these satanic whatever agendaists. Because there's nothing sane about what's happened to me in my life. So people just think that, people outside of reasoning, of being able to think these things are possible, legitimately think I'm crazy. I understand it, but I'm telling the truth. So then from 6 through 10, we'll say, I'm just trying to split it up by 5 years, by 5 years, by 5 years. But the fact of the matter is that after 5 years old, I was already a poisoned up person. I was already being introduced to my own brother is wanting to continue that poisoning in what I think is just to psychologically make it to where psychologically make it to where they wanted to escape from accountability at a very young age, being sexually traumatized, A, put into hypervigilance, B, put inside of a hypersexualized place, C. I mean, they're just reasons. So growing up, I'd say 9 years old, 10 years old, whenever they would have company over, or whenever there would be people around that could even have a littlest bit of concern for me or love for me or whatever, it would be me being poisoned up. Same thing with friends. Like I've said in my past work, this kid Stan had to move away with his mom and said that he was going to cut ties and they were going to change their name and all that because he thought that either Phil the Salyers or my brother had done something to him. And he says, I really think your brother did something to me that made me smell this way. And like a preliminary victim to just test the waters, so to speak, because my own brother never wanted me born, I guess, because of my wanting to move away from the abuse at a very young age that I couldn't understand completely because, like I said, I was a poisoned up victim. And yes, it was arsenic, among other things, I think. I even think that I might have been given LSD as a baby. But I'm not sure. And either way, it was really fucking hard growing up. Really fucking hard. So I wanted to just know what their intentions were. And I wanted to ask them because I wanted to be able to see through whatever I needed to see through in order to get the closure that I needed for my own self. And it should have been enough to know for myself that just asking the questions was enough to have the closure I needed to, like, pack my bags and become Forrest Gump. Like, I'm just gonna run and not stop running. But I never had that opportunity because I believe wholeheartedly that it's the mind frame when it's poisoned up. You don't know what to do. You don't have reasoning to know that you're missing anything at all. Because the only normal I knew was very unnatural and not normal. You see what I mean? And so I guess you could say that my work online to speak out is a little bit of vengefulness. Like I'm pissed off that these people did this to me. I'm thoroughly pissed off. At the point I'm at now, I could almost care less. Put up a cross, nail me to it, whatever. I don't give a fuck because these people in the world are literally sadists and they're getting away with awful fraud and nobody cares. The system don't care, the police don't seem to care, the FBI don't care, the fucking just nowhere cares. Charities, churches, all these people that are consumed with power, they just don't seem to fucking care. And they, like, people legitimately should. Like, in the end of the world, people, like, all turn on each other. And it's like, if they actually just came together like all of them, they could literally turn things around against any pandemic or plague or fucking warfare or whatever. But instead of thinking that way, people are all like gonna grab their pens and poke each other's eyes out to steal the axe and the gun and go after other people. You know what I mean? Like, give me your food. I don't know, man. Just nobody's fucking brain works anymore these days. It really is quite shocking to me, to tell you the truth. But so when I was like growing up there, and it'd be like really hard because at times my mom would be like having to go to court or having to go, deal with things. I would be left alone with people that didn't have my best interest in mind. I mean, imagine that, your own blood brothers, like literally wanting to perform against you in that fashion to, as well, get away with rape. Hide. Like, really fucking sick shit. And then so, because I knew these things, because I learned these things at a young age before being poisoned up, I couldn't remember after being poisoned. I couldn't hold on to my own memories of like, oh, I had a cookie yesterday. You know what I mean? Or anything. So I was basically on autopilot, and the only thing that I knew from then on was basically being on autopilot. And then the syndicate, if you understand a syndicate of like satanic ritual abuse, you know what I'm saying? Of like these abusers that like literally like to traffic kids and traffic people and make sure to have a tight knit group of people around a targeted person's life just to make sure that they don't get out of proxy, they don't get out of line for themselves so that they can figure out things. You know, that's what it was for me. So we'll say 10 to 15 years old, I had an incident in my home life where I was poisoned up. Just wanted to get away from the pain. Took a bottle of Tylenol, the whole thing. And yeah, I don't even think I was suicidal per se. I just wanted to get away. I mean, you could consider it like I probably wouldn't have cared, but it didn't take my life. It just didn't really probably help the fact that I was arsenic poisoned, and these men deflected from the fact and utilized the reaction that they got me into as if I'm mentally unwell. But it was always a poisoning. So then, after like getting out for a little bit and being able to remember it again, that, the stage right around 4 or 5 years old, for me, that I legitimately just didn't care about law. I didn't care about the government or police or the fucking court systems or anything, because I thought to myself that the man that my father was just needs to be dealt with. And so, like, I legitimately had made plans with a group of people that would take me there and just deal with it. That didn't end up happening because it was like taken out of context to suggest that, well, then I become the same thing he is. Well, that was just him. That was just these men in my life protecting the man that my father was for whatever the fucking reasons were. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not legitimately saying that this is good. I'm not saying like it's a good thing. I'm just saying it in general because it's the truth. And so I was all washed out of my mind for most of the time to even realize what was happening. And in that same feeling of being, it's an arsenic poisoning. It's a poisoning. Okay? It was being administered to me without my knowledge all throughout my life. Okay? And up till like 2 years ago, I finally figured it out. But before we get into that, because I've already been talking and speaking out along those lines, we'll move from 15 to 20 years old. And mind you, I'm not going to get to every last little thing that happened in these ages. I'm just trying to like remember back so that people can understand my work a little bit better if they care. But I legitimately think that with all of the suffering and the malevolence that's happened to me in my life, I deserve a blessing. I deserve breakthrough from this. I deserve uh I deserve something that's outside of this abuse, okay? It's been nonstop abuse in my life. Literally up till still going on today. It's just non-fucking stop. And it doesn't feel good to know that your own brothers could treat you like a kid brother that they just never cared about. Like I'm the kid brother that they just wanted to be like way up here over me and keep me super low. And now that I see it for what it is, it's like, it's really hard to come out and say the truth about it because I legitimately just wanted to have a forthright and forthcoming, hopefully an outstanding conversation with these men about the shit that was that they were doing. But they never gave me that chance, which is like why I'm like I guess I'm not going to give a shit either, you know what I mean? So it's like I don't give a shit. They legitimately worked my life out of me, down full scopes of my life, the full lifelong span of my life, to then play me within a proxy warfare with relationship after relationship that was meant to be psychologically operating on me to create affairs and be unwelcome guests in my home when I'm going to work and trying to poison me up at every job I've been at or poison up my ability to perform any job. And it's like a targeted and created homelessness, a targeted and created mental health, a targeted and created like, oh, I guess I can't love and be loved in return. You know, making it like gaslighting basically to doubt my own reality. So that when I was, say, around 16, I wanted to run away from home. The police brought me back. Pretty immediately after that, I was love bombed and made to feel like, oh, no, you know, you shouldn't have to feel like that, and yada yada. And then immediately I'm poisoned up again. And it was like, I I faintly remember, like, I don't know how to explain that, but it's like you have memories of why you wanted to run away, and then within 20 minutes or hour or so, you don't even have the memory, your own mind frame, nothing. Like, you have a bag pack, you just can't reason through anything anymore. And it's like, it happens so quick that it just makes you, it made me at that age. I was like 16 years old, and I remember feeling like, great, I'm never gonna get away from this feeling that's happening to me. And it's just like, it makes you like super depressed. You give up on yourself. You're like, you're just so done with it, okay? It's been all my life up until that point, you know what I mean? And then you don't see it coming from other people that you rely on either. Jesse, for the example, was a proxy made friend who I think was literally in the car of Danny Heinrich's car, almost being kidnapped 3 times by the age of 11. So I don't see those things as coincidence. I see those things as legitimately me finally having memory and ability to vocalize it and articulate it at fucking 42, 43 years old. Took a while to even get my availability of speech back, of what was actually going on in my life. That's kind of why I started the YouTube channel in the first place. So I thought to myself, I'm going to have to relearn how to speak. So that's the reasoning why I'm on YouTube. That's the reason why I was starting to rap. Even if it didn't make sense or whatever. Even if I couldn't make sense of it, or I couldn't get to the right words to say, or make the songs make sense or anything. I just didn't care. The only thing that I wanted to learn how to do was literally be able to speak my mind like I'm doing the best I can do with it right now. Given the monstrosity of what's happened to me, it's really freaking hard sometimes. I talk in tangents. It's hard to understand me. I go from one place to the next sometimes, and it's really hard to keep things articulated in order, you know. So see here, so from 15 to 20 years old, I had so many experiences. One of them being that I was going for my GED because school itself was pretty ruined for me. I didn't want to go to North High or North Minneapolis, so I just legitimately wanted to get my GED and get done with schooling. And I personally believe that the person that they had in the class with me that had jumped me in my own backyard, literally trying to get me in the trunk, is the same thing that all of these other things have been. It just isn't happenstance. I believe that this was set up the same way that everything else was set up. And the reason I say that is because I've been able to, how would you say it, alchemize anybody's hatred for me or anybody's weirdness towards me, so long as it wasn't within syndicate or being bribed or being created or whatever. You see what I mean? And I'm not saying that there's literally no event inside of my life that was organic. The world is an evil fucking place. But with these things constantly happening, I just couldn't suggest to me that the world is actually that evil to me, or to me personally all the time. This isn't bad luck, Matthew. This is legitimately happening to you, not because of you, but it's definitely created for you. You see what I mean? And the reason it's created for me was because these people that were doing this total takeover of my life needed to deflect and minimize from what they had been doing to me, so that I couldn't ever get inside of the mind of literally getting away from these people physically, not taking anything from, not ingesting anything, I should say, from them, not taking a damn thing from them. Because if I did, it was the same thing. Over and over and over and over and over. And so that is legitimately the pattern in my life that I didn't realize until I want to say around 41 to 42, heading into 42, I was starting to catch on or 40 to 42, because I did kind of realize it in St. Paul Park, and well, a little bit before then too. I realized it in Elk River. I realized it when I was working for Pat in the homeless shelter. I think that's where it actually started. That's where like the pattern recognition started. So I started to see it. I just didn't want it. I'm like, and at the same time, it's like I worked really hard to keep that memory. So when I got back to the shelter, I made sure to write about it. Well, writing about it wasn't enough when legitimately you know your password to get logged onto your computer over and over, day in and day out, day in and day out. All of a sudden you're poisoned up and I can't even remember my own freaking password? Like, you gotta be kidding me. But that's how it happened. That's the same type of shit that the arsenic poisoning would treat me like, dropping me down to the ground now, having heart palpitations, feeling shortness of breath, feeling like I'm being ghosted out of myself, the world like just literally and closing in on me. So from like 20 to 25, it was the same thing within a relationship. Before the relationship that I was in the recent now. Well, two times more it happened. Or more. I think more, but I wasn't able to see those things at 17, 18, 19 years old. I wasn't able to see them at 20, 22, 23, 24. I wasn't able to see them at 25, 26, 27, 28. I literally wasn't able to see them till I was around, I want to say like 37 years old or 38 years old. Literally drop into the gravel, having to fucking work 12 hours, and not knowing how I'm going to get fucking through the day. Drank a whole bunch of water. Um, and I legitimately didn't want to take anything from him coming back to pick me up, because he was coming back to pick me up. But by the time he came back to pick me up, it's already washed away. My ability to hold on to my memory of him poisoning me up was already washed away. So that's what I was running into all throughout my whole entire life. That's the pattern recognition that I recognized at 30, mainly at like 42. Mainly at 42 and a quarter. I realized this isn't just happening to me. This has been happening to me. If you don't stop it now and nip it in the butt, you're going to end up dead. These people are going to try and kill you. I had to put it in my mind that just my moving away from these people and moving away from Syndicate and moving away from people that I loved, that I just had to realize they just didn't have love for me, that I had to move away from them. And knowing in the back of my mind that I needed to hide it from them, because if I didn't, it was just going to become worse right here on the spot. And I needed time. I needed to buy myself some time to like get away from these people so that I could collectively put a plan in place to get away from them altogether. And now it's just like, well, fuck, I don't even care what happens. Like, obviously I'll be losing my stuff for the fifth fucking time without having anyone in the world help me within this problem that I've been experiencing. Obviously, the medical community can go fuck itself. These police can go fuck themselves. Everyone everywhere, basically, that's supposed to care about real crime can just go fuck themselves. So I think that's why a lot of the fraud has been coming forward out of life, because literally it was said to me that they're creating laws around my life to get away with this stuff. And I couldn't understand it at the age, but that's why Andy's dead. My best friend in the whole entire world. And yeah, if you ask me, I think they poisoned him up, planned to assault his life the same way that they did in reverse of my son. My son and him both flew 20 feet out of the windshield. My son's just lucky to be alive. But can anybody consider that a coincidence? It's not a fucking coincidence. I can tell you that right off the bat. There's not a fucking coincidence there. That is not a coincidence. These people know what the fuck well that they did to me. And anyone that can think otherwise is just, what the fuck kind of dumb shit is this world? Like, that's a fucking special kind of idiot right there. Like, literally, I'm telling, like, what I feel is, like, the hardest story to tell, and yeah, people don't care. You can see my views. I get, probably, will I get 5 views on this? Will I get 15? Oh, so sweet. Telling, like, the most horrific horror story of somebody's life in this fashion that I think could be told. Because it's dealing with, literally, you don't have your mind, like, how is it that someone can blame a person for the things that are happening in their life when your brain is being targeted through poisoning you? Your relationships are being proxied so that these people can keep you within proximity to keep you poisoned up. Your relationships are being controlled if you try and go outside of the syndicate, outside of the proxy relationship, and have an organic relationship, which I couldn't see for what it was at the time, but now I can totally see it, where they, like, legitimately got in the way of that too, to make that person feel like shit and make that person feel like, I can't handle your family. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with your family. I think you're great. I love you. I care about you. I just can't do this. Which totally makes sense. You know, like, anyone would, like I would want to be with a normal person too, not like, like, I don't know, be trying to be in love with a girl. I can't even put it in reverse, but I'm trying to just to be in love with the girl that her family is just totally nuts, and she doesn't seem quite right because of the ways that they're treating her, just constantly like a mess of themselves. Like, I don't know, with what I've gone through, I probably would love her to death. I would probably love her all that more, because I know that she sincerely needed somebody to help her see things that were going on in her life. But normal people, I'm just saying, normal people don't think like that. They want someone that has a normal life. They got 2 parents and siblings that truly care about them, and they can be around their family, and they can be, they can enjoy, like, their friendship circles that aren't all, weird camaraderie. Like, it's actually good stuff. Like, no one's trying to sleep with your partner, and they're not trying to sleep with your girl, and your girl's not trying to sleep with your best friend, or just anything like that. Oh, that sounds fantastic. That's exactly what I think a relationship should be like. And social life, you shouldn't have to fucking even worry about that kind of thing. You should literally have so much trust in the people around you, and if you don't have this kind of trust, they're not your true friends. But you should be able to be like, you're going somewhere to go grocery shopping or whatever, that you could leave your friend with your girlfriend and trust your friend, or trust your brother, or trust who you're with your girlfriend, without worrying that something is going to happen that, shouldn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, people should be able to trust each other to that point. And if it's like, if you literally can't trust them, they're not your day ones. If they show you signs that they would be all smarmy and weird and engrossed and encapsulated and, you know, for the infidelity, then they're not your friends. They're infidels. So I'm getting off track a little bit, but I'm literally just trying to make the point of how it's just so hard to get out of syndicate when you're like literally poisoned up. If I wasn't poisoned up, I would have gotten away from syndicate at a much younger age. I would have realized at a much younger age that I never wanted anything to fucking do with that man, Jesse. I mean, what a piece of shit, dude. Like, what a piece of shit. How you could even play to be someone's friend thinking that you can have total control over their lives through envy, through manipulation, through hacking, through gaslighting, through creating emotional warfare, relationship abuse, utilizing literally what he already knows about me through trusting the motherfucker, like needing someone's help. You know what I'm saying? Needing someone to help, not hurt. Not take that hurt and let's smash it up even that much more. Oh, thanks so fucking much, G. Like, people don't like, go try and do what you did to me to someone in North Minneapolis. You won't be living. Dumb fucks, man. Completely fucking idiot brains, dude. So, ultimately, you need people in your life that are your day ones, that are going to really stay true to you and have value and moral culpability and be held accountable. If you don't have that, you don't have a friend. You don't. What you have is a person that's riddled with the demonic. You have people that are riddled with fucking the spirits of envy and leviathans like Jesse hacking you. That's legitimately a leviathan spirit of the demonic. They need to surveil you and monitor you and GPS you and know your location and gaslight you and get access to all of your data plus you. Use your trust, gain your trust, while as well having all of the access behind the scenes in the backdrops of your life and in the background of your life. Like, what a fucking cuck. Completely criminal ass piece of shit cuck. So if you have people like that in their life, you need to get away from them, right? But in a brain that literally can't reason through shit about what is happening because of a very calculated poisoning, how do you reason? You don't. You don't. Great. Just fan-fucking-tastic. And then I'm literally realizing that that's been my whole life. So it's like, oh, well, fuck. Where's the rope? You got some rope and a tree, Jesse? Why don't you fucking actually try to fight me and string me up against that tree then? You can't fight me for real. You gotta fight me with all this other fucking psychological operational fucking bullshit working within syndicate that's like literally within my own brothers trying to do this total takeover of my life, suggesting to me that they're going to be doing this network marketing with me, or like we're going to build a business or two, or whatever. Nothing ended up happening because they never had the intention of doing such things. So I started writing up a mission a long time ago that I think is just verbatim like sweet, like it's like the most coolest thing ever. But these people hacked me. So they wanted to have access not only to everything of me, they probably wanted access to that. They wanted to energy harvest off of my time for work, energy harvest off of my writing money with the NTF that they stole away. They wanted to energy harvest to keep me in proximity of, well, obviously he was their friend. And they never entailed to actually have any kind of consideration for me whatsoever. Whatsoever. They legitimately, like, he, on top of them, literally felt like they had my life in the bucket. They were gonna, like, if my life was a bucket of water, they were just gonna be able to tip the motherfucker over. That's it. I mean, that's legitimately how easy it is to poison someone up like that. Because you need love. And you're going to be looking for love and support. Like, literally being held was like literally the only thing that helped me. or feeling like, I don't know, just feeling loved, helped, I'm gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. It just hurts because it totally overtook my whole entire life and almost left me for dead. What could hurt worse? Literally, what? What could hurt worse than that? A bullet to my brain? I doubt it. They could have shot me at 3 years old. What the fuck would be the difference? So I'm trying to like alchemize this pain. I'm trying to release this pain. And the world around me doesn't care about this type of pain. You go in for physical help when you're talking about what I'm saying and they're making it all mental health. Well, last time they got me on a hold, there was an elderly woman being raped. And they were deflecting from what I had going on in the first place. And now I'm dealing with the same things. A little bit worse, even. I mean, to different levels. Wasn't as bad as that place in Mounds View, but whatever these people did to my home, they know what they did. I don't know everything. All I know is that I've had a really awful crime to figure out and reach discovery of, and as soon as I do, the police don't care. My system isn't there. There's no actual care. It's all fraud. It's all fake. No one cares. And anyone that does care, can they do anything? Not really. They're all fighting for their own families and whatever, and their own health, wealth, and happiness. I'm sure people just want to be left alone for Christmas and New Year's. I'm just alone. All the time. Ah! And then the troll that's in control of through Syndicate tells me that if I quit these and get my stuff up onto a server, like, I don't have enough for any of it, dude. They completely washed me out of my life. The cops weren't even allowing me to fucking go to work. It's warfare, if you ask me. It's a spiritual, psychological warfare. Through Syndicate of people that are just clowns. Like, they should just legitimately go to clown school, because fuck your job, fuck your badge, fuck your state of thought process that you're anything honorable at all, when you're not. Like, thanks so much, Cheryl, from back in the day. Thanks. Thanks so much for not even considering to break up with me correctly, psychologically creating warfare in my life through affairs, proxy affairs, yet again. Thanks so much, Aurelia, for doing the same thing that she did. taking money. $55,000 in a car, I guess, was enough. When legitimately, all of that could have been alchemized into like 55 million. I even know the pathway to take. I've just never had 55 grand. But these people don't care. Because that's how the demonic work. So I'm not like that shocked, I guess. It's just the fact that I just don't understand like why I'm even here. Like why am I fighting so hard all throughout my life? For what? For what? My own friends I grew up with basically treated me the same way, treated me like shit, playing about me as if I'm just somebody to fuck with. Growing up from there and trying to establish good relationships, people just treated me like crap. Be like, they'll be at a certain place at a certain time and they're not even there. Like, do we not just talk on the phone? Did you just legitimately want to, like, force me to drive for no reason? Force me to walk for no reason? Or bike or skateboard or whatever? Nobody gives a fuck about anybody anymore, it seems. It seems families are completely destroyed. They think that they're all cool and they're fine. They're not fine. People that work in that way, that don't like legitimately have anything to repent of their sinful lives to the Lord, they're not fine. God doesn't forget these things. I mean, they can believe however they want to. Believe anything else that you want to. It's your prerogative. But the Lord is the only thing that matters. Being written in the book of life is the only thing that matters, if you ask me. Because anything else that's on this planet, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what material possessions you have. It's all garbage. You're not going to take anything with you. So, I guess I didn't want to pop I have my phone up against my coffee. I guess I just legitimately don't feel like I know what to do about this crime that's happened to me, because it seems like as soon as I figured out the crime, that's when all of this fraud started coming out. And then it's like the syndicate is trying to lead me to death before the world can go back to normal, because that's the same way that everything else has been in my life. As soon as I couldn't or was done skateboarding, skate parks popped up all over the place. As soon as I was done with, like, I don't know, I can't think of all the other things in my life, but it's like everything goes back to normal as soon as I'm out of the picture, basically. I just wish that life mattered to people out here, to where these syndicates could get destroyed, which they should. They should be destroyed. Because they're literally everywhere. They're everywhere. Like, and then on top of it, you have like a homeless community inside of Minnesota that's like more than ever before. And I'd say most of these people, a good 95% of them, are like either addicts or they were like pushed, where they don't understand that they're targeted into the homelessness that they're going through, but they were by the leftist community of Sanctuary City, like creating warfare over targeted individuals' lives. Everyone's a fucking targeted individual. They just don't know it. And then, there's the other 5% or so that do understand that they're targeted individuals and targeted into the homelessness and into the heavy blight that they're experiencing throughout their life, where they just don't have availability to get to the overgrown warfare that these people, these clown shoes, these fucking supposed cops, they're Freemasons, these two-faced, double-living, double-minded fucking assholes out here that are literally making it to where people can't live a normal life. Like what I said, they know about the identity theft. They know about these things that have been happening to me. They probably know verbatim what poisons they were, when and where and how often and everything. More than I do. I legitimately had to figure it out on my own. And they didn't allow me to have like anybody in my life that like could be a second pair of eyes. And when they were, even within my own family, they would manipulate them against me. And I don't blame those people, but I was legitimately saying for a long time, like, I am dealing with the covert warfare, covert abuse, psychological warfare, spiritual warfare, like, I'm a targeted individual, and the warfare that excuse me, that was my stomach. The warfare that I'm experiencing is like, I just need someone to help me see this stuff. And no one did. Instead, I go down all of the time. They get away with their crimes and their criminal ass bullshit. I'm sitting there trying to figure it out in my life, figure out what to do next in my life. And it's worse than what people can imagine, I believe. It's literally worse than what people can imagine, because look, when you're like unwittingly being targeted in that fashion and you can't even reason to discover patterns that you would otherwise be able to reason through if you had been not poisoned, to get away from syndicates like that, it hurts like fucking hell. On top of the fact that, like, just as you're finding out, they're trying to murder me. And then the police don't even give a fuck about attempted murder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know, 9, like a bunch of times. Probably like 15 times. Or better, I don't know. I'd say better than that, actually. Going back to when I was a young kid, like fighting just to get through the night. My God. I just couldn't see, okay? I couldn't see. And I needed to be able to see what was happening to me. So, literally, these people are everywhere. They're Freemasons. They're satanic fucking worshippers. Or they think that their shit don't stink because they're like a part of some kind of Catholic church that's completely wrong. And mind you, other places of churches that think that they're right are actually kind of somewhat wrong too. When we literally have 66 books of the Bible ripped out of the middle of the Bible between Malachi and Matthew, we need those Bibles. We need those books, I mean. We need the full thing. Full disclosure. Not these parts ripped out of there specifically for mind control. Specifically for them to basically get away with furthering abuse. Trafficking people. Allowing a government that cares more about protecting trafficking children and protecting the fucktard that my dad was to even fucking rape his own daughter that was born with congenital heart defect, that I believe was born with congenital heart defect because of an arsenic poisoning that happened to my mother. And like, sciences are literally proving this shit. I mean, it's not like it can be upheld in court to that level from what I'm studying, but literally the science is proving it, that it's because of toxic metals and toxic exposure to the mother that is even allowing a person to be born with congenital heart defect. And then on top of it, I've studied the holistics of every disease that I could try to understand. And then I find that the petrodollar, these plastic rubbery parts that they're making for surgery parts, the body is trying to release. I watched a heartbeat next to a heartbeat of two different kinds of surgeries dealing with congenital heart defect. I can't find it on YouTube anymore, but that's where it was. And it was the heart that had the plastic parts from the petrodollar in it. There was redness that grew up around it and just never stopped, because the body is trying to get rid of these chemicals, get rid of anything plastic, get rid of anything metal, getting rid of the petro oils, anything that's created with petrol oils inside that they put inside your body is trying to reject it. Whereas we have an endocannabinoid system inside of our body, go figure, that's very closely tied to cannabinoids. But you use the cannabis parts that can be created with cannabis oils, the same way that they're using with the petrol oils. That heart over like 2 months time looks like anybody else's heart. And if you ask me, they knew this. They knew this. They knew it. They just didn't care. Why would that be? Because you see the rod, the staff that signifies for the medical industry, the staff, and then what's around it? A snake. So you got snakes around the staff. Great. People don't even understand the symbolism they're seeing. So pretty obviously why they would want to kill me as well as all these other people is because I'm speaking out about allopathic care being a complete fucking fraud with the cartel and the fucking, probably Freemason ran fucking, like, oh, we only care about money. If we allow people to be healthy, you're not going to make any money. Money is more important than lives. Getting away with their crimes is more important than not. Right? Dickheads. But that's why I study Ayurvedics and holistics, because God provided sunlight for the seed to be planted in the ground, to grow. For agriculture that's also under attack these days, let alone cows, for crying out loud. Chickens, I mean, you name it. Like, our government is just super, like, sitting around a circle jerk with the devil. That's what they're doing, dude. Bunch of fucking cucks. Anyway, I'm really pissed off at the world. I'm really pissed off at the world. I'm really pissed off at the world. Everything that this world is doing right now is like, just, I've reached a boiling point. Personally, there's so much more to talk about when it really comes down to how things have happened inside of my life. But the fact of the matter is that at all these ages throughout my life, I never knew I was being the victim of circumstances of being poisoned up to those extremes, which is the truth, because they never allowed me outside a syndicate to even have an organic relationship, an organic social life. So it's the same thing that my mom was dealing with bribe checks being paid to people who might have been there to support her, who obviously cared more about, you know, their families and their families' lives than being there to support somebody else going through this type of dress. But it's the same thing I'm going through now. I'm going through this dress and nobody gives a flying fuck. As long as it's not me. We were all trained so well by the educational system to be independent. When I believe wholeheartedly if humanity actually came together to be loving and supportive, not only could we get through these fucking crimes that are happening to humanity, but we could build a better world. And if we can't get through that and they don't allow us to, like with the gunpoint to our heads and like, you know, just trying to kill us on no matter what we try and do, and like kill whistleblowers and all this other bullshit that's going on in the world, we're never gonna fucking be a humanity ever again. Like there's, like literally, I don't even think we can even get you know, much of a humanity back after the kind of monstrosity of fraud that we've already been experiencing. But if we're gonna get any kind of semblance back, it really takes people coming together and realizing that they can build things and just suggest to each other that they're not going to accept these lies. Stand up for each other. Support one another. Like legit, now we're faced up with these wars against the family unit, and it's even happening to these cucks that think that they're going to utilize that satanic type of evil and allow their vessels to be open to the demonic to work in this fashion where it's like, did they not think to at all? Did they literally not think at all of like being a parent for their own little brother, or being a parent for their sister, or being a parent for their mother, and being a parent in loving ways for the loving people that are loving, not supporting the evil? But these people literally chose a side. And now that they've chosen a side, all of these syndicates are like just being completely dumbfounded. The fact that they're not going to be protected. They're not. They can consider themselves protected in a whole evil shit camp design, but in the end, they're not going to be protected, and certainly not going to be protected by Satan. Satan only wants their souls. That's it. And as so long as they can trick you and deceive, and so long as these demons and the powers that are out here can trick you away from your God-given gifts and your God-given right to fight for your soul and fight for the safety of your spirit, well, good luck, I guess. Good luck thinking that you're not going to deal with God's wrath. I pretty much don't care because my whole life was stolen from me. See what I mean? And so these people want to think like they can just go ahead and get away with all of these crimes. Go. Go think that you're going to get away with all your crimes. You're not. The same way that you didn't when Jesus was put up on the cross and stabbed in the side. Fucking lashed however many times that he was lashed. They didn't get away with any of it. Still to this very day, and especially when we're all dead. You think you're going to get away with it? You think these 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati are going to get away with what they're doing to humanity right now? Oh, my fucking George. These people not even fucking have brains. Sorry, I'm out of here. I'm done. I'm not very happy right now because of what's been happening to me in my life. So, if you do support my work, will you listen to one of my rap videos or my singing inside of your car? Because I say a whole lot in lyrical value that is all truthful as well. And it honestly has like, I don't know, 100 times the power that these speaking videos have, but people like these speaking ones better, I guess. Probably because I'm showing my face and stuff. I don't know what it is, but They like these better than anything I'm creating in my lyrics. And I have like a stack of notebooks like this high that are like all filled up over the past, I don't know, year and a half. Anyway, talk to you guys later. Love you guys for supporting me. Thank you.